Welcome into Sports Talk with Theo Dorsey. South Georgia, let's talk sports. In fact, let's get into some high school basketball action. The regular season is winding down and the great teams are beginning to separate themselves from the good.
Yeah, that's very true. There's only 9 days left for teams to position themselves for seeding in region tournaments. For many squads, that equates to about 3 to 5 more games. Tonight, we give you our weekly awards, update the power rankings, as well as welcome in a special guest. Michael Hoffpauir is in his 4th season leading Americus-Sumter. He'll join the show later to discuss his 18-2 Panthers, who are vying for the right to host the region tournament in February. But first, let's recognize the players and the teams across South Georgia.
Well, thank you, Mike. That's a nice segue into, as we always start, with the individual accolade. Now, here's a quick note for you. In order for players to earn the Shining Star of the Week, I have to know their stats. To know that, I need the basketball coach or maybe even you to hit me up and say, hey, little Johnny messed around and had a triple-double last night. And speaking of, there's one athlete who is nearly averaging a triple-double, and for that, he's our Shining Star of the Week. Lee County center Tyler Colberth is averaging just under 10 points, 11 boards, and nearly 10 blocks. Now, that's not quite a triple-double average, but it's right on the brim. Colberth finished with 9 points, 10 boards, and 9 blocks in Tuesday night's loss against Northside Warner Robins. The 6'9" center has been the ultimate rim protector for the Trojans this year, who are trying to defend their region championship season from last year.
And it's one thing to boast a perfect record this late in the season. It's another to be doing so while also having one game decided by less than 15 points. For their unchallenged dominance, the Westwood girls basketball team are squad gold. Following Tuesday night's 58-21 victory over Terrell Academy, the Westwood girls improved to 19-0 on the basketball season. The Lady Wildcats have been averaging 70 points per game this season. It's not just about offense down in Camilla, though. They're also holding teams to just 28 points per contest. That's an average margin of victory of 42 points. Lady Wildcats are rolling through the Georgia Independent School Association with 3 games left in the season. Their bid for a perfect regular season looks promising.
Some impressive stuff there. Well, here comes again the part of the show where last time it spawned some angry text messages, some in good fun. I want to give you guys the basketball power rankings for South Georgia. And we have a shakeup atop the standings in region, actually not in region, but in the boys. Thomasville started off number 1, but it's hard to keep them there with their 2 losses, one to Berrien and Pelham. They aren't even tops in their own region right now. Calhoun County takes over in the top spot. The Cougars only 2 losses, and both of them came on the road by a combined 7 points. Americus-Sumter right behind Calhoun County at number 2. Of course, we have their head coach in studio today later on. We'll hear his opinion on that later in the show. I'm sure he'll have something to say. Westover, 4th, a big loss to Northside over the weekend. Nothing to be ashamed about because Region 1 Quad A, the toughest in the area as it looks so far. More on that later as well. 5th is Coffee. They're undefeated in region play and have won 9 straight games. And the honorable mention, Tift County. Hard to ignore what the reigning champs are doing out there in the highest classification in Tifton. And time for the ladies. The top remains the same for the 2nd straight week as Bainbridge continues to impress. They're led by seniors Nadia Marshall and Tatiana Rosenberg. And behind them are the reigning single A champs, Pelham. Their lone loss of the year came against Terrell County by 1, but they just avenged that loss. Lowndes surged up to number 3. They took down Colquitt County girls and are well positioned to maybe host that region tournament. Westover comes in at 4th. They were blown out at the hands of Carver, but Carver, they've been pretty unstoppable this year so far. 5th, Colquitt County, a surprising drop, but the Lady Packers have dropped 2 of their last 3. A lot of time for them to make it up, and it's kind of between them and the Vikettes for that region. And the honorable mention, Terrell County, the Lady Green Wave, now 13-1, one of the favorites in Region 1 Single A.
All right, good stuff. But before we give you the top 3 options for this week, for Play of the Week, it's time to tip our caps to the young lady whose highlight won the Showstopper Play of the Week on Facebook. Triantia Andrews received 667 votes on Facebook for this game-clinching 3-pointer right there. You saw it. She shot the hit to help Thomasville defeat Early County on January 12th. Look at it again. The shot helped snap Early County's 7-game win streak. It also had Thomasville third in the region. Congrats to Andrew and the Lady Bulldogs. They actually host Early County tomorrow night. The Lady Bobcats will be seeking revenge.
Interesting one. Well, now for this week's plays that were showstoppers in their own rights. Here go your 3 options, so hop on my Facebook page, Theo Dorsey, WALB News 10 to vote. Thomasville hosting Fitzgerald on Friday night. Titus Wright throws the full court pass to Reggie Perry, and, well, he knows what to do with it. Off the one hop, Perry flushes the tomahawk dunk to vote for the McDonald's All-American. React with love on Facebook.
All right, option number 2. It's going to come to you from the Crimson Coliseum. Jamisha Samuel. Look at this. She's going to pick a pocket, and she is going to go all the way right there. The hoop with the lay-in. This play helped Lowndes in a region win over Tift County on Friday night. To vote for Samuel's scoop and score, react to the WOW on Facebook.
And option number 3, Westover hosting Shaw in a region game Friday night. Check out Cameron Weston. Going to zoom by that Matador defense and rises up on the defender. Why did that guy jump? Let's take another look at this one and see if he hopefully learned his lesson when Weston is jumping. Get out of the way. To vote for Weston's drive and dunk, react with haha on Facebook. Voting lasts until Tuesday at 5 p.m. this time around. Good luck to all of the candidates. Now, Jalen Wimberly had a pretty good high school basketball career out here in South Georgia between his tenures at Lee County and Terrell Academy, but he never had a night like he did this past Monday on the collegiate level. The Andrew College forward scored a school record 50 points in a 97-82 win over Gordon State. The Leesburg native came into the game averaging just under 15 per game. Wimberly went 19 for 23 from the field. He hit 4 3-pointers. He also pulled down 10 boards and dished out 5 assists for those Fighting Tigers. An efficient night to say the least, and it contributed to a much-needed conference win in the GCAA.
And we mentioned Westover's win over Carver Columbus on the road Tuesday night that moved them to the top of the region standing. Here's a look at the highlights from Tuesday night. Carver entered Tuesday in first, Westover in second, Americus-Sumter in third. First quarter, Tigers with it. Dexter Simmons hits the mid-range jumper. He finishes the night with 11 points. Later, Carver with it again. Azair Jacobs drives to the rack, and he's going to get the tough 2. 13 points from him. Westover would prove to be too much trouble for Carver. That was Mike Eisler, pulls up with the jumper. 2 of his 12 on the night, and then they work it down to Jamie Petway, who is right there, lays it up, gives the wins to the Pats, the outright lead. They're 8-2 with just 4 games left to go in the season. And Westover was one of only 2 teams to take down Americus-Sumter this season. After the break, we welcome in Panthers head coach Michael Hoffpauir to talk about his surging Panthers as well as play trivia. See you after the break. Welcome back to the show as we welcome in Americus-Sumter head basketball coach Michael Hoffpauir. Welcome, Coach.
Yeah, welcome in, man. Let's give him a warm greeting, man.
Definitely, got to give him a warm greeting. All right, we're going to give you some background on him. Theo, take it away.
I'll take it away from here. Coach Hoffpauir has Louisiana roots, and his impact isn't new to the city of Americus. He actually played college ball at Georgia Southwestern in the early 90s. Now, a couple decades later, his Panthers are railing off wins at an alarming rate. But his first coaching stop was actually in 2007 as an assistant at Colquitt County. That job was under Kervin Davis, who we had on last week. And following a 4-year, or actually 5-year stop in Moultrie, he landed his first head coaching job at the high school level at Randolph Clay. They made it to the Elite 8 in both his seasons with an overall record of 40-19. Now, that's when Americus came a-calling, and they were pretty smart for doing so. Hoffpauir is in his 4th season guiding the Panthers, including this season where he's a combined 80-26 in Americus. The current Panthers, well, they're 18-2, but he's about to be 18-3 when I'm done with him in trivia. You know I'm ready. You know I'm ready.
This is how it typically starts. But yeah, we like to call it Theo versus everyone because Theo pretty much takes on everyone we have. It works out pretty simple.
It beats lots of them.
That's debatable. But it's a lot of me keeping him in check. But yeah, so I'm going to ask you guys a series of questions. You just buzz in to answer. If you get it right, you get a ball. The person with the most at the end wins.
Now, did he get to see the questions earlier today?
He did not. No. First person to ask.
Making sure it's not rigged.
Yeah,
it's not rigged.
You'll see. It's very not rigged here.
Question gig. Oh, yeah, I've lost a few.
Exactly.
All right. So we'll start off these first couple questions. I'll give you a choice of this or that. You can pick. You have to buzz in and pick one of them.
Okay.
All right. What decade was the National Basketball Association first established? Was it 1950s or 40s? That's a tie. We give it to Coach.
I'll go with the 40s.
Yes, sir. It was the 1940s.
All right.
Good start. Good start. We're going to keep it rolling.
Ain't no problem. Ain't no thing.
All right. What popular move was banned from college basketball in 1967 to be reinstated in 76?
Block shot.
No.
Oh.
Was it the slam dunk or the crossover dribble?
Oh, slam dunk.
Dang.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm gonna do with this ball here. Slam dunk.
Okay.
Yes,
He did get a little slam
I'll come
dunk
to
there.
win, baby. I'll come to
He
win.
did. He did.
All right, I got you.
You should have waited till I read the
I know,
choices.
and
You're
I
a
knew
little,
that one, too.
little over aggressive there.
Did they do that to stop Abdul-Jabbar or Lou Alcindor at the time? It was UCLA.
I can't tell you
Something
right
like
now.
that. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving.
Anyways, all right. So where was the first NCAA men's basketball championship tournament held? Was it at Patton Gymnasium in Evanston, Illinois, or Madison Square Garden?
Patton.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it, man.
You got it. You got it. All right. So these questions,
That was
you
a
guys
little
have to come up with the answers on your own. You still
Okay.
buzz in.
All
All
right.
right. Who's the first player to be drafted #1 without playing college or high school basketball in the U.S.?
College
This
or
in the
high school
US?
basketball?
Yes.
Yao Ming.
Yes.
Woo!
They
Hey,
didn't play in the U.S.
Houston Rockets, where I'm
Good
from.
job.
That's
Houston,
true.
Texas.
It's not
Good
rigged.
job. Good job. Good job.
Appreciate
Good
it.
job.
All right. Which college did Larry Bird play for?
Indiana State.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yes, sir. All right, I like it. It's back and forth.
Hey,
it's a good matchup right now. All right, what team holds the record for the most consecutive NBA titles?
Oh, Boston.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's right.
That's
He's
all
quick.
right.
He's quick.
Because you went back to back with the Larry Bird. I see what you did
Yeah, got to get a little flow to the. That was actually unintentional.
there. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm
All right, we're about halfway through things here. Coach has kind of built up a lead, but there's still 3 questions left. The last one's worth 2 points, so you still got a chance.
I can win
All
all
right.
3 of these. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, what NBA team has the best record in one season? Best single season record?
Golden State Warriors.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
2015,
come on
2016.
man.
Yeah.
It was a
Should've
recent
known
one.
that one. Yeah.
Come on now.
All right, what was the name of the movie where Shaq played a genie?
Kazam.
Yes. All right, this is the last
Let's do it.
question.
All right,
It's
all right.
tied.
Crunch time.
I like
Crunch
that.
time.
This is a hard one, though.
All right.
So it's
Oh,
worth 2
God.
points.
If we have
I'm
another
ready.
tie on this show,
Yeah.
I'm quitting.
Please don't quit. All right, which 1980 college basketball team was known as the Doctors of Dunk?
Oh, yes. University of Houston.
No.
Oh.
Any guess, Coach? College basketball team, 1980s Doctors of Dunk.
Man.
Where's the guy? Kentucky coach.
I'm not telling you.
Louisville.
Yes, sir. It was an extend. It was a little bit of a wait,
Yeah, you
but
gave that extendo.
you didn't want to tie, so I guess
Oh,
you
you're
didn't
right.
get a tie.
I didn't get a tie. I got what I asked for.
Yeah, what you asked.
I like.
I appreciate you
Good
beating
job.
me and
Good
humbling
job.
me.
Good job.
Like your boy said from Georgia, I had to humble myself. You know?
That's right.
So
That's
I'll
right.
take my loss fair and square. Well, I appreciate that. That was a good, fun round. A lot of good questions there, Mike.
Yeah,
and
thanks.
congrats on the win there. I tried to give
Thank
him a
you,
loss,
thank you,
but
thank you.
that's been tough for even other teams to do this season. We'll talk about his Panthers and how well they've been doing this season right after this break. Now, winning like the flu that's been going around is contagious, and folk in Sumter County have been calling in sick plenty this basketball season as Americus-Sumter is 18-2. Much thanks to Coach Hofbauer, who was on the show. I thank you again for joining us.
Good to be here.
Of course, and you're in your 4th season, the 18-2 Panthers. But before we get into all of that, I kind of want to talk about what got you here. We ran through your coaching resume before. What are some of those pivotal relationships you had early on, whether it be with Colquitt County as an assistant or later on Randolph Clay, or even your days before that teaching elementary school in Atlanta? What's been some of those pivotal moments or people that you've met that have helped you along the journey?
Well, it's been quite a few. One of the close friendships I've developed over the time is Lee County head coach Kervin Davis. He actually is the one that got me into basketball coaching. Something that I always loved, always wanted to do, and I presented him with an option for an assistant coach. He was looking for one, and he got me in, and that kind of kick-started me into my career.
Right, and it was a career that obviously you're doing pretty well with so far. For you also, for people that don't know, and as we look at your Americus-Sumter teams right now, you played ball at Georgia Southwestern, have a little roots in Americus. Can you describe your playing days? You were obviously tall. I mean, what position were you playing? What you do there?
Well, I like to tell everybody I played all 5 positions. I played point guard for one time because Coach made a bad substitution. So I played one point guard for maybe, a series or 2. But I played, anywhere from the 3 to the 5. It was a small team my first year, but mainly at the 4 spot and the 3.
Okay. And Lafayette, Louisiana native who made his way to South Georgia via Georgia Southwestern. And now you're back in Americus some 2 decades after graduating from GSW as the head coach. And you guys have had some early success. As we look at these Panthers, I mean, 18-2, yourself as a head coach, you haven't had a losing season. You keep bringing teams into the playoffs. How are you able to have this early success so far when you're just about, about a decade in the game?
Well, I've been fortunate into working with some very, very good communities. Randolph Clay, of course, you know the history with them. Basketball is a passion there, and it's legendary what they have done over the years. Also in Sumter County, from my playing days and playing pickup in the summertime and getting to know the people from the community and a lot of the players, they're hard-nosed guys, hard-nosed kids, and I love playing, coaching kids that bring maximum effort and work ethic. Sumter County is a very good community, strong people, strong parents, and it's allowed me to flourish as far as my coaching resume. But for the most part, I enjoy coaching the kids and coaching in that community.
Right, I know it has to be very good, especially when you're winning and you're enjoying your job.
Yes,
it has to be
a
very good thing. Can you talk about, this region that you're in right now? Region 1 Quad A, I've called it the best region in South Georgia with South Georgia area teams in it. Look at those standings right now. You guys are 18-2. Your only 2 losses this season came in the region. Westover #1 right now. You got Northside, you got Carver. Nobody knows who's going to end up hosting this region tournament probably until the last day. How is it playing in this region?
Well, this region is very tough. We've been, I guess, lucky and unlucky in a way because the region before that was very tough with Bainbridge, and then when they restructured everything, we got into this region here, and it's top to bottom talent. Any given night, it's going to be a tough night. The other night we went down to Cairo and they were tough, but it's going to play out. It's going to go down to the last game, quite possibly, because Carver has to play Westover again. We both, us and Westover, we have a tough schedule to finish out these last 4 or 5 games, so it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough, and is that for you as a coach? Do you kind of prefer that kind of tough region play to get you prepared for the playoffs?
I love it. It's iron sharpens iron, and when you have a good, tough region to play in, it hopefully lends to success in the playoffs.
Okay, of course. So we'll see what happens there. We'll talk about some of that. And speaking of success, I know how many football players did you bring in onto your team this year?
I don't have an exact number, but I know usually somewhere around 5 to 7.
Right, of course. Now, that team, obviously they didn't have the end of the season that they would have liked, but they were very successful, made it to the playoffs, won the region the first time in Americus-Sumter high school history, and they were bounced in the second round, but they had an excellent season. Now, they say success breeds success. It's kind of contagious. What was it like importing those players in, and how did the success of the football team that kind of merges into basketball season help you guys in this early season start?
Well, kids come in with a renewed energy, with a little pride, work ethic, and they have an understanding of what it takes to be a winner and a champion. So anytime any sport has success, it's going to help all other sports advance and be successful.
Right, and for you, at Americus-Sumter, I know South Georgia's football town. What's one of the biggest hurdles you've had to jump as a coach here just in South Georgia in general? You can even date back to Randolph Clay or Colquitt County, with it being a football-centric area, as well as maybe even some of the competition you had to go up against.
Well, with it being football, they concentrate on a lot, but believe it or not, man, South Georgia has some very good basketball. And, a lot of the guys, myself and a lot of guys I know in the coaching community that coach basketball, they have a serious passion for it. I love it. I love basketball, hands down. And we get a lot of support from all, and it's working out. Right,
and speaking of that success in South Georgia, we've had a lot of state champions over the past couple of years. And speaking of one, 2016, the Lady Panthers actually did it. Now, what does that do? You talked about momentum of success and how that carries over. Seeing that team do what they did with Atiana Galden, as you see, she was a magician with the ball.
Yes.
Seeing what they did and being able to take a state championship to Americas, how does that motivate your guys?
It makes everybody hungry. When we saw and the football team, the football players, and the community saw and rallied behind how well the girls were playing and that it's possible, everybody has an idea or thinking that they can believe that we can do it too. So it's transcending into all sports, and I think it's a great pick-me-up for everybody.
Of course. Well, we'll talk more about the potential of you guys being able to do just that this year, going for a state championship, as well as the way you guys ended last season right after this break. Well, Americus-Sumter went 21-7 last year, losing in the first round of the playoffs. They'll try and do better this year as they're 18-2, working towards that. Have to thank Coach Michael Hoffpauir for joining us on the show. Still mad that you beat me in trivia, but we'll be keeping up with you guys and the Panthers along the season.
All right. Appreciate it.
And we'll see you guys next time on Sports Talk.